everybody, it is your girl here, GenuinelyDivine, coming at you today with a video all about Capricorn Rising. Now, if you're here because you were born between the Capricorn dates and you're like, well, I was born, I'm a Capricorn, this is my jam, you know, this may not be the video for you. In all actuality, you can be born any day of the year, any month, it doesn't matter to have a Capricorn rising. What matters is what time the clock stated during your detachment from your mother's womb. So if you're here and you know that you are a Capricorn rising, let's keep on watching the video. Now, okay, first of all, what is a rising? What is our rising sign? It is also called the ascendant. Ascendant means to ascend. It means to, and ascend means to rise. So ascendant is just a professional word for rising. So that means the exact same thing. So what does the rising sign means in our charts? Well, the rising sign is one of the most important signs in your astrological chart because it actually is a window to all of the other houses in your birth chart. Saturn rules Capricorn, which means that Saturn becomes the chart ruler of a Capricorn rising person. What is Saturn? Saturn is the planet of restrictions. It is the planet of discipline. It's the planet of maturation. You know, it's slow, it's kind of old, and people always kind of like fear Saturn, or they don't like it when Saturn comes into our lives or into a house, because in that house it will teach us very hard lessons in our lifetime. As a Capricorn rising person, it is your chart ruler, which means throughout your whole entire life you've gone through hard, difficult lessons, and it seems like they never ever end. But in all actuality, there is an end to everything, because one thing about Saturn is it is also the ultimate karmic planet as far as giving you good rewards, you know. So it will definitely, you know, make us work hard, but in the end it rewards us, just like a parent. Like Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the 10th house, and the 10th house is all about that disciplinarian person in your life, like your father. So with that type of energy, Capricorn rising people, they seem to be very disciplined people. They seem to be very structured people. They are very business oriented type people. You know, they have their heads on straight. It's just like so old when they're young. They become older, they seem a tad bit younger. It's like, for instance, like Capricorn rising people, they do have Aquarius on the second house cusp, which is also ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is influencing the second house of self-worth, you know, money that's earned. And Capricorn, you know, Capricorn rising people, they have these, there's a fluctuation when it comes to their income. Like there's a fluctuation in how they even deal with their income, because sometimes it's like they can save up really good. They can be very disciplined with their money, and they are disciplined. But it's just like something always comes up because of Uranus. Uranus is a co-ruler, and there is in their second house also. So it can just be these things that happen, you know, and just cause them to have to splurge in all of their savings or something. You know, they deal with type issues like that. Also, when it comes to their self-worth, you know, they will save. Some of them will save all their money, because having money in the bank and being able to see it is like they feel valued in that way. So Capricorn is all about values as well. They value things that they value things in the material world. It means something to them, and their hopes and their wishes are to have those nice things and to have those material gains, but at the same token, they don't want to have to splurge everything that they have in their savings account. Now, Capricorns are sometimes they can be a little bit, when they communicate, sometimes they can be a little bit very spiritual when they are communicating. They can be spiritual type people because they have Pisces on the third house cusp, which is the sign of spirituality, also the sign of illusions and delusions. So sometimes they can be, when it comes to certain subjects, or they can be a tad bit slow and kind of like, you know, processing some information. Not saying that Capricorn rising people are slow or all of them are, but sometimes they can be a little slow in certain subjects, like processing things, because it's kind of hard for them to focus. Although they are a focus sign, if this makes sense to you, sometimes they can have difficulties focusing on certain things. It depends. Now, if it's business, they're focused, but sometimes if it's something else, they may not be totally focused. They can be in their heads. Sometimes when they're communicating, they communicate in a way where they can be very passionate about their communication. That's why a lot of them seem reserved and a tad bit shy, because they try not to talk about certain subjects because they know that they will become emotional. Although a lot of people say that Capricorns are emotionally detached, they are not emotionally detached. They just don't show their emotions to everyone because they feel like it's not necessary. Because Capricorn rising people, they've had to be strong their whole life. Even as a child, they had to be an adult. They had to make adult type decisions. They didn't have an opportunity to sit back and be sad or feel sorry for themselves or to be nurtured, because they have Aries on the 4th house cusp, which means that their mom was the type of mom who was self-oriented, the type of mom that probably worked a lot, had a lot of different type endeavors that did not include her Capricorn rising child, leaving her Capricorn rising child by him or herself to defend for him or herself and take care of maybe their siblings. Because usually Capricorn rising people, sometimes they kind of like will be like the oldest, they'll be the one in charge, you know, the leader, the one who gets the most responsibilities. So however it works out in your family or in your birth chart, this is a theme for most Capricorn rising people. They may have to be the one to take on the responsibility of taking care of their sisters and brothers while their mom or their dad have to work, you know. So I just feel like for Capricorn rising people, when it comes to being strong and being structured and just, you know, working hard and just wanting to achieve things, it's because of where they came from. You know, they came from a place where they've always had to do that, and now it's just become and as they grow older, it just becomes a theme in their lives, you know. So when they go out into the world and they want to, you know, date and to meet other people, Capricorn rising people, they like to date people who are serious about dating. Capricorns are serious about dating. When Capricorn rising people, they are serious about dating, okay? When they date someone, they're gonna make sure they check you out like wholeheartedly. They want to know a lot about you. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a background check on you or credit check on you and all that great stuff, because of the simple fact they need to know. They have Taurus on the 5th house cusp, and the 5th house is all about our dating, you know, all about dating, entertainment, you know, our children and things of that nature. So they actually want someone to date someone who actually that shows some type of value. Having Taurus here on this 5th house cusp, Capricorn people like people who are successful, people who look successful or are successful. You know, they want to be with someone that's successful, because Capricorn is a status oriented zodiac sign. So they are, you know, gonna want to make sure that the person they're dating can offer some type of value to their lives, because if they cannot offer value in a Capricorn rising person's mind, what would be the reason to have them in their life? Because love, they don't put a lot of emphasis on love, because Capricorns, they tend to be a tad bit more practical when it comes to love and relationships and business and partnerships. That's just how Capricorn risings are, because first of all, you have to keep in mind that Saturn is that planet of restriction. So it restricts certain emotions from Capricorn. It restricts them from showing certain types of emotions. Not saying that they don't, because they do. They do have Cancer on the 7th house cusp, which means that they can be emotional in their relationships, or they tend to attract emotional type people. They attract people who are emotional, like need a a lot of nurturing, or, you know, like Capricorn rising people, they want to be nurtured in their relationships. They want to, you know, be free to be themselves. So when they're with other people, sometimes they can become emotional, especially with a spouse. You know, that's where they can actually start showing their emotions a lot more, opposed to just people on the outside world, because it's not practical in a Capricorn rising person's mind to show their emotions to the world. What good is it going to do? There's no need. You know, this is what you keep private. You take it, you know, you can share it with people who are close to you, who genuinely care about you. So that's how Capricorn rising people feel. Capricorn rising people, they have Gemini on the 6th house cusp, and with Gemini being here, like, this house is naturally ruled by Mercury. This is a Virgo house. Now, having this Gemini energy here, for me, I feel like a lot of Capricorn rising people may deal with nervous energy, or they may have social anxiety to a certain extent, especially when it comes to work. I feel like because of all this mercurial energy in this house, some of them may actually deal with some type of ADHD maybe. I'm trying to like really put it into words, but I just feel like some type of nervous energy about them in particular areas of their life. I feel like a lot of them have already noticed this, and they probably work out a lot because there's a lot of energy that they can possess, and they can feel like they need to release this energy. And those of you who are Capricorn rising and you do feel yourself having a lot of energy, or you feel really jittery, like you need to do something, you may need to go outside and take a brisk walk or run or something. You need to work out because you have a lot of built up energy inside of yourself. Because Capricorn rising people, they don't cry a lot. Now, not saying that they don't cry at all, but they don't cry a lot. So they have this extra energy inside of themselves that they have to release it. Otherwise, they can run themselves crazy. So Capricorn rising people, if you have Gemini on your 6th house cusp, make sure that if you feel just really anxious, that you do something, you know, exercise or do something. Okay, yeah. The thing about Capricorn rising people to me is that they have a lot of willpower. They're very determined. They're very determined people. Now, they have Virgo on the 9th house cusp, so it's like for them, the 9th house is all about higher learning, philosophical views, all of those great things, you know, like traveling and things of that nature. And Virgo here, this makes Capricorn the type of person, like religion can be a routine in their life. They may be the type of person that every Sunday they're in church, or every Wednesday they're at Bible study or something, you know. Or they're the type of people, you know, they're very, you know, they're the type of people that are always working to help others. Like, they're trying to teach others something. Maybe it's about business, like they want them to know, you know, this is how you get this started. You know, they're always trying to help people to actually, you know, trying to help people to gain some type of knowledge about, you know, something, either religion or good morals or something. Because of the simple fact Virgo is here, an earth sign, you know, they may pay a lot of, you know, they may pay close attention to details when it comes to their education, like their college education. Like, you know, in their 3rd house, they have Pisces there, where when they were younger, they had difficulties focusing on one, you know, focusing on certain type subjects. It was very difficult for them. But in the 9th house, they have Virgo here, where they're a little bit more grounded. Now they have this one subject that they're interested in, so they can put a lot of attention to details here in this house. So I feel like a lot of Capricorn rising people, they're very determined. If they set their mind on something, they're very determined to finish it. You know, this is a cardinal sign, so they do initiate things to happen in their life. So here in this house, I feel like they initiate, you know, a lot of things as far as their higher learning, you know, their education and stuff like that, or whatever it is that they're doing. Also, they have Libra in the 10th house. Now, with Libra being in the 10th house is the house of careers. I feel like a lot of Capricorn rising people, just because Libra is that sign of balance, sometimes it's very difficult for Capricorns to find that balance between their love life and their work life. It's like they either do too much in one area and not enough in another area. And they just like, they can't find that balance. Now they want balance, but it's so difficult because they either, you know, pour in too much in there, or they can actually find balance and they will still feel like, wow, this is not right, this is not enough. So I feel like Capricorn has that type of nature because they're pessimistic instead of optimistic. So I feel like no matter what they achieve in their work life, in their career, or throughout their whole life, they always feel like it's just not enough. They always feel like they're just in the middle. You can look at them and say, you have everything, your life is amazing, I wish I had it. But in the Capricorn rising person mind, no, they don't have it. So they're just constantly, you know, battling, trying to find that balance of, when do I feel like I've succeeded? You know, when do I feel like I have success, or when do I reach success? So Libra is a sign of conflict anyway, so having it in the 10th house, it just seems like Capricorn rising people, they find it very difficult to be pleased with their position in life, especially when it concerns career and status. So it seems like they're forever searching for that balance of career, status, and love relationship. So that just seems to be a theme, and having that Saturn influence, it just makes it really difficult. Now, of course, you guys, looking into your actual birth chart and seeing the aspects, you can be able to see more about, you know, how it personally affects you. Or this is a general overview. Now, when it comes to like friendships and, you know, organizations, hopes and wishes and things. Now, one thing about Capricorn rising people is, yeah, pretty much they do have a tough life. Mainly, they don't, when we look at their lives don't look hard at all. It looks like they have a good life. You know, they're very structured. Most people look at their life and be like, I wish I could be more like Capricorn rising person. But Capricorns tend to kind of like struggle, and when they have like friends or organizations or groups or whatever, a lot of times it's like they can be very I don't know if I want to call them kind of like dark and kind of gloomy with their friends. So it's kind of like difficult for them to really hold on to friends. But they can also have an obsessive type nature where they can just kind of like obsess over certain things, because they do have Scorpio on the 11th house cusp, which means, you know, Scorpio is an obsessive sign. It is a sign that's like all about, you know, basically, you know, transformation. So they may go through a lot of transformations with their friendships or different groups and organizations. You know, people may feel like they're just too I don't know, like they're too focused on their work, so they're not really, you know, participating in a group like they should, or something like that. You know, they may have these type situations where they feel like they're constantly changing their groups of friends, or all the time, maybe because of work, you know, but whatever the case may be, they just feel like there's a lot of transformations. But it's okay with Capricorn because they're not big on having a lot of friends. They don't have to have a lot of friends. A couple of close friends are cool with them. They don't have to have a lot of them, okay? Because a lot of times they just feel like they can't trust anybody, and they don't share a lot about themselves with their friends. And in groups and organizations, it's like that's not a big deal for Capricorn rising people. If it is a big deal to Capricorn rising people, then they have some type of aspects, especially, you know, with Uranus there. So another thing that I notice about Capricorn rising people is they complain a lot. Okay, they do. So they probably run their friends off, or people kind of like avoid them because they are so pessimistic. And people don't want to hear it all the time, you know, like nobody wants to hear that, oh, I don't have any money, or I went to the casino, I lost all my money, and I'm just like, oh my God, these times are just so hard. And it's like nobody wants to hear that. So I feel like Capricorn rising people can sometimes run their friends away, or people try to avoid them altogether, because first of all, they already have this serious face mode. They also and also, you guys, if you want to watch the physical appearance about your rising sign, I will put a link in the drop down box below. But they already have a mean face, and they're always complaining. Like a lot of times they're complaining, and their life can be just fine, and anything that they're complaining about is usually something that they created in their own life, and other people don't want to hear it. So I feel like they do run their friends off. I'm sorry, Capricorn Rising, please don't get upset with me. This is just my interpretation of your houses. So I just feel like, okay, with Sagittarius being on the 12th house cusp, their optimism is hidden away. Like, you know, so it's like they just become this pessimistic person on the surface, and to everybody that they meet, they just seem like a Debbie Downer, or, you know, just the type of person that just, you know, just lack that optimism. Like, it's like they focus on what's not right opposed to what is right. And if you do that, Capricorn Rising person, please stop doing that. Start focusing more on that silver lining in the dark clouds, and don't complain so much about things. Like, if you do complain, don't complain about a lot of things. If something's not working right in your life, always tell yourself nothing is as bad as it ever seems. It's not. And just focus on what is great in your life, and let that be your guiding light. Do not focus on things that are wrong in your life, because that's only going to help you to attract more negative things into your life, because you've created that negative mind space for yourself. So you have to always turn your negative thoughts into a positive thought. And with you guys having Sagittarius, the sign of optimism, the lucky planet, you know, the lucky sign, you know, that the sign of blessings and all those great things being hidden away in that 12th house, sometimes you don't allow those things to really come out and to be seen, because you guys are blessed people. You have a lot of wonderful qualities about you, and your life can be very peaceful and very wonderful, but you just have to be grateful for the things that you have and not focus so much on what you don't have, you know, and just kind of like find that balance, you know, in your career, and also, you know, find some type of comfort in your romantic relationships, you know, with sharing your emotions and how you truly feel. So with that being said, you guys, that's all I have for you. And until the next time, I wish you guys so much love, peace, and so many wonderful blessings. Bye.